Hi, I'm Brett. This is my little pup, Snaps. Welcome to the first video in this series called Patience with Snaps. What we're going to be doing here is bringing along this young pup and teaching him a bunch of tiny little things that will prepare him for the field. Snaps is about 10 weeks old. He's been here for about 2 weeks. Snaps lives in the house with us. All of the things that we do are going to be focused on towards people who live in the suburbs. To go out to the field and get field training, it's about a 25-minute drive for me. So I try to do a lot of things here in the yard. Hopefully this will set you up to be able to do some of those things yourself. One of the most important things when you're trying to build a bird dog puppy that you absolutely have to have is birds. Now, if you live out someplace where you have lots of wild birds around you, you maybe don't need to do this much. I don't have a lot of wild birds right here close to me. I do have wild birds here in Utah, lots of them, but they're a ways away. So I need to do some things with this puppy to get him ready to go chase wild birds. So I'm going to give him a little introduction to birds right now, and this is really no big deal. I suggest if you don't have racing homers or some kind of homing pigeon, I suggest you get some. They're just invaluable in the training process with these young dogs. So I'm going to show him a bird right now. Now, to be fair, he has seen birds before. I've done this a few times with him, so I kind of have an idea of how he's going to react. Your pup might react a little bit differently. It's important to think about when you're doing these things not to overdo them, especially this yard stuff. You'll really, you can just wear the pup out doing too much. So everything in moderation. So I've got a couple of racing homers in this box here. And as you can see, he's into this right away because he knows what birds are about. He likes the one in the box too. I'm going to let him bite at it and chew at it. I'm not going to let him get a hold of it, and I'm going to hold the wing steady so that he doesn't get slapped by it. We don't want a negative experience here. We want to make this positive. Birds are fun. They're the best thing in the whole world. Best thing in the whole world. But I also don't want him tearing my racing homer up. And I'm going to just let it go. Snaps, here's another one. Look here. You like that? Oh, look, we got a little point there. The other thing we want to be cautious of is we know that when he stops and points like that he's sight pointing. A lot of people get really uptight about not wanting their dogs to sight point. I'm okay with my dog sight pointing a little bit, but I certainly don't want that to be the way they find birds. There could be a circumstance when hunting wild birds, especially here in the state where I live. We hunt dusky grouse a little bit. Dusky grouse sometimes will get out in the middle of the pines on the bare ground and be standing there, and the dog's out running and hunting, and he comes across this grouse standing there. He might not wind that bird, but the bird's standing out in the open. I want him to stop and point. So I'm okay with if the dog stops and sight points. In fact, I'm going to actually work on that after he's learned to use his nose first. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I saw a trainer once a long time ago do something he called waking the dog's nose up. Now, I don't know if that's a good terminology for it or not, but I think it doesn't hurt to get that dog used to finding things with his nose. So what I've got here is a piece of bacon from last night's dinner, and I'm going to get him interested in this, and I'm going to leave a trail on the ground, and then I'm going to distract him and allow him to find it with his nose. Let's see if he can do that. Snaps. And he's smelling it and trying to find it. Now, this is the first time he's done this. Let's see if he can find it. Snaps. And I'm going to help him along just a little bit. Hopefully he's going to work his nose. Now he's working to it, trying to figure it out. And he didn't find it, so I'm going to try again. Here goes Snaps. Just a little piece of that. I'm going to give him just a little piece of it. You want some more? It's pretty good stuff, isn't it? Pretty good stuff. Get him smelling it on the ground. Distract him. and he found it. He needed a lot of help to do that. We're going to keep doing this over the next week or two until we get him to where he can trail that bacon out right away. Some of you that have more versatile breeds might pick this up a little faster than a setter pup like Snaps will, but he will pick it up. Once we get him following his nose to things, we're going to start hiding the bird for him and see if he can find it. Snaps, look what I got here, bud. Let's try, this is his second time. See if this is any better. So we go. Just going to get him following it, and then I'm going to distract him with my other hand, and I'm going to leave that bacon over there. See, he's much more about using his nose and trying to find that piece of bacon. Now he's walked over it. Snaps. I'm just going to help him get back to it. And it looks like he found it there. And it looks delicious. Okay, so it's feeding time. I recommend that you feed your pup twice a day or 3 times a day. But it's important not to leave food in front of them all the time. And one of the reasons is for training purposes, and the other reasons for health purposes. Usually a dog that has food in front of him all the time eventually becomes a little bit portly, and we don't want that. We want a lean, trim, run machine when he's grown up. So we're going to get those good food habits going right away. The other thing it allows us to do is it allows us to start working with some discipline, some pretty easy discipline. So this is how I start whoa training, and it's not that this has that much to do with birds or anything else, but it gives the dog the discipline. When he grows up, he already understands the whoa command, and when we go to break him, it's going to be really easy. Okay, so here's the exercise. Get Snaps interested in the food. Snaps, here. Come, Snaps, here. Good boy, good boy. Whoa. Now I'm restraining him from his food. I'm gonna touch him on the head. See? Release command, bring the food to him, and I'm gonna let him start eating. And then I'm gonna set the food down and let him go at it. We're gonna do this one every single day. The birds, we want to do those sparingly. For now, maybe a couple times a week or something. We don't want him to get bored with that one. The meat thing, you can do it every day until he gets the hang of it. Once he gets the hang of it, I don't do it much more. That's that. Once a week or so has gone by, and I've been doing these exercises for a week. We'll come back, film him again, and take a look at his progress, see if he's learning the things we're trying to teach. We'll also add some other things probably at that time. Always teach your come command. If you want the dog to learn to sit, sit's important to me. Some trainers of pointing dogs don't teach it because they're worried that the dog's going to sit when they're working with whoa. I haven't had too much trouble with that. Sit in the house is valuable enough to me. I'm willing to deal with it. If the dog starts to sit, I'm willing to correct it and deal with that later. Lay down is also an important command. You may want to work with that one. I think there's enough information out there for everybody to work with those basic commands. We can also start to play fetch a little bit with our dogs. And we'll probably start to do that on the next video. Anyway, I hope this is of some use to you.